3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? So the WWE earlier this week announced that it is Slammy season. From the release, the WWE's biggest award show makes a triumphant return when the 2020 Slammy Awards, the Best of Raw and SmackDown, stream live on WWE Network and WWE's digital and social platforms on Wednesday, December the 23rd at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And they have the categories that are listed. If you go to WWE.com, you get to vote on these. The first set of voting is open now. I think the remainder of the voting will open up over the next few weeks. But the categories are Superstar of the Year, Match of the Year, Rivalry of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, Return of the Year, Ring Gear of the Year, Breakout Star of the Year, Female Superstar of the Year, Male Superstar of the Year, and Moment of the Year. So yeah, it says here the WWE Universe will be voting to decide the winners of the first 5 awards listed above. Voting is now open. Be sure to have your voice heard for your favorite WWE superstars and matches of 2020. So I kind of decided, since the awards are not presented until Wednesday the 23rd, that will give us this week and next week to talk about the Slammy. So I kind of broke them in half. The 5 that are up for voting now, and then the other 5 we will talk about next week. And so we will tonight cover Superstar of the Year, Match of the Year, Rivalry of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, and Return of the Year. We'll go through the categories. We'll go through who is nominated, and then we will give who we think is the winner of that category. So starting with Superstar, actually we'll build our way up to Superstar. Cousin Brian says Ring Gear of the award goes to Bam Bam Bigelow. I would certainly agree. Always loved always loved the Bammers gear, so why not? We will start you know what? Screw it. We'll work top to bottom. I keep changing my mind. With Superstar of the Year, the nominees are Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, The Fiend Bray Wyatt, Asuka, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. And you know what's funny? I had gone through and I'd circled all of my responses in this one, except for this, because I was debating on this one, and then I didn't go back and actually circle my my response, and so I'm kind of leaning between like Bayley and Drew McIntyre, just because if you look at the entirety of the year, I feel like the two of them have kind of just been at the top, and I felt like they've had the best year. But if we go back to the Royal Rumble and you look at what Brock Lesnar was doing in the Royal Rumble, Drew McIntyre comes in, he gets the elimination of Brock, he goes on to win. He, he wins the championship over Brock, and then he has a great run, and obviously with everything going on this year, I think Drew McIntyre, carrying that brand, and doing it in a kind of impossible circumstances. I'm going to say Drew McIntyre is your superstar of the year. Let's go to Matt. Who is your superstar of the year in 2020?
It must be 2020 because I am going to say Roman Reigns.
Now, I did not see
Can't
that
believe
coming.
I'm saying that. Yeah, I mean it's crazy to me, but the storyline he's had, and I know I've been the one in the group to like pick at it and poke some holes in it, but the storyline with the family, him getting, Paul Heyman to be in his corner as the mouthpiece, I think is a very strong move towards getting Roman to that status that I think we all want him to see. So that would be my choice. Plus the whole comeback story. I won't say I didn't see it coming, but I mean, for him to at least like come back from like I understood why he took the step back. So for him to be in the ring right now is still a very big deal. So I think all of those things combined just kind of makes me more wanting to say Roman's had the best 2020. If you can have a good 2020 at this point, I think Roman has.
Sure. Intern Mark, who would be your superstar of the year for 2020?
Was Goldberg an option?
Goldberg was not an option on this list.
Okay, in that case, let me see here. I was kind of torn between Roman Reigns and McIntyre and The Fiend. But to me personally, I've been most entertained by Reigns with that heel character. And the fact he came back after that illness and just the way the world has been in 2020, I got to go with Roman Reigns. And I wasn't a big Roman Reigns fan before, but the whole thing with Heyman and the Samoan Dynasty, I can really get behind that. I like that. So I'm going to go with Reigns.
All right, Ryan, we'll go to you here. We are running down the Slammy Awards for 2020. We're starting with Superstar of the Year. The nominees are Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, The Fiend Bray Wyatt, Asuka, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair.
The whole roster. Got it. This one has to be The Fiend. I think that is the most popular thing that WWE has going right now. I see why The Fiend does not make sense to win it, so I think WWE will work this, and The Fiend will not win. But I would vote for The Fiend.
And Tim, who would be your Superstar of the Year?
I think that the answer is definitely Drew McIntyre. He's the only person that's really had a complete year on the list. I mean, there's three people to me, honestly, that I would think that if you look at the list objectively, it could either be Drew's, it could be Asuka, or it could be Bayley. But I'm giving it to Drew. Very strong showing of the Royal Rumble, picking up the victory over Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, holding the title until he loses it to Randy Orton, only to win it back. And he's champion today. So world champion for 9 months. Pretty impressive reign, the face of the COVID era for WWE. So I'm going with Drew McIntyre.
All right, very good. Devin has The Fiend, and Cousin Brian says Roman benefits from no crowds to counter message the creative intent. I agree, because I think if with a normal crowd, I think if you get this Roman Reigns, you're probably getting more cheers than boos, which would definitely be counterproductive to what the message they're trying to get across. Then we go to Match of the Year. These are the nominees: Undertaker versus AJ Styles in the Boneyard match at WrestleMania 36. The New Day versus the Hurt Business for the Raw Tag Team titles on November 16th. Monday Night Raw. Edge versus Randy Orton, the greatest wrestling match ever at Backlash. Where is it? Why is there only... Oh.
He raked my back. Yeah, no, he didn't literally rake it.
The men's Royal Rumble match, AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental Championship Tournament Finals on SmackDown in June. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso for the Universal Championship in the I Quit Hell in a Cell match at Hell in a Cell. Sasha Banks versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title in Hell in a Cell. AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn versus Jeff Hardy for the Intercontinental title in a triple threat ladder match at Clash of Champions. Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns at Survivor Series, or Becky Lynch versus Asuka back at the Royal Rumble. I was kind of going back and forth on these, but for me, having no clue what a Boneyard match was, being concerned about what exactly is a Boneyard match, and just the way that match over delivered in every single way, and just how perfect that was pulled off in delivering the cinematic matches. I have to go with the Boneyard match. Tim, we'll go to you.
I would have said the Boneyard match until Roman Reigns fought Jey Uso in Hell in a Cell. That's the best match of 2020. Everything else is second place. This is. I'm gonna go back and watch that tonight. Like now got a hankering for it again.
I might go watch the Boneyard match tonight.
You watch the Boneyard match, then you watch the Hell in a Cell match, and you tell me which is which. I'm voting right now. I got the checkbox clicked. I'm hitting submit.
There you go. Tim voted. Ryan, match of the year.
It's a shame that Tim just voted for the second greatest match of the year, which is fine. You can be wrong twice, according to Devin. The Boneyard match absolutely should be the match of the year. It set the standard for cinematic matches. It hit an absolute home run, and this is a fitting nod for the Undertaker to be represented on this show as well.
Intern Mark, match of the year.
Well, this is a tough one because I'm torn between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso and the Boneyard match, but I think I'm going to have to go with the Boneyard match because it was the first cinematic match. It set the standard. It delivered. So I'm going to have to go with the Boneyard match.
Very good. And Matt, how about you?
I'm going to choose the match that you said, the only one that I really loved, and that was the Boneyard match.
Yeah, I would have pegged you for Roman and Jay. Well, they didn't have the first one when Jimmy came back, so I could see why. All right, very good. Let's go to.
If that one had been on the list, then that's
Then we go to rivalry of the year. The nominees are Seth Rollins versus the Mysterio family, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, Edge versus Randy Orton, Sasha Banks versus Bayley, R-Truth versus the World, and Lana versus the announce table. I'm gonna go honorable mention to Lana versus the announce table. And even though it was kind of one of the shorter lived ones here, just in kind of the tail end of 2020, the golden role models and splitting up and the match that it turned into at Hell in a Cell, Sasha versus Bayley. I absolutely loved what they did in that short period of time. I do still kind of wish that it would have went longer and the payoff match would have been at Rumble or Mania, but in these uncertain times, I have no issue that they paid it off sooner. We got a great Hell in a Cell. Matt.
Again, it must be 2020 because Jim and I are agreeing on things. Because I also have Sasha and Bayley as my pick, just because I think the longevity of this feud, and boy, that Mysterio family really tempted me. But yeah, it's got to be Sasha and Bayley for me.
Intern Mark.
I'll tell you what, this was another tough one, coming right down between the Mysterio family and anybody. But the the rivalry with Bailey and Sasha. The story's been so well done and just spread out over so many months. I have to go with that as the best rivalry.
Going back, Devin, I'm sorry, had the Boneyard match for his match of the year. Ryan, who do you have for the rivalry of the year?
Jim, that's a great question. I'm glad you've asked it here tonight. I didn't give much thought to this until you said it. I love the two humor ones that are included on the table, and R-Truth versus The World. I think they will obviously get enough votes in the land of sports entertainment. But I feel like the role models has a lot of recency bias, and I don't think there was anything more important than renewing Edge versus Randy Orton and the rivalry between those two. So that'll be my pick.
Very good. And Tim, how about you?
I am going with longevity. I'm going with a captivating story. I'm going Sasha and Bailey.
Three Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Very good. Then we go to Tag Team of the Year. The nominees are the Golden Role Models, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, The New Day, The Street Profits, and Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. So literally the 5 tag teams that are in the World Wrestling Federation Entertainment. I loved Sasha and Bailey. I loved what they did. But for me, I look at the longevity of the Street Profits as tag team champions. The fact that you have a bona fide star in Montez Ford, and Dawkins is no slouch. I absolutely love these guys. It's a shame that some of these tag teams have had their run without a crowd, but for me, it's the Street Profits. They are the number one tag team. Excuse me. Devin had Edge and Randy as rivalry. Matt, I think Tim, we'll go back your way. We'll go back the Serpentine. How about you? Tag team of the year.
Profits are up. Nobody had a hotter 2020 than the Street Profits.
Very good. Ryan?
Yeah, you guys are both correct. It's absolutely the Street Profits. It's a shame because I think tag team wise, Knock and Cesaro, they just didn't have the year that they should and could have had. But that team, I think, could have done so much. But it absolutely, I have to agree with yourself and Mr. Tim and say the Street Profits.
Intern Mark.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. It's pretty easy. Street Profits for me.
And Matt.
Yeah, it's surprising that for the first year since these awards started, the Usos aren't going to win Tag Team of the Year. But I've got to make this unanimous. I think the Street Profits ran the tag team division. I think they put tag team wrestling back on the map in WWE as we've been longing to see, and it's not just kind of like one of those thrown together tag teams that we're used to seeing with WWE. It's a legitimate tag team. It's a shame that the Iconics couldn't be considered in this because I think that they had a stake in the claim more so than kind of any of the other teams that were mentioned beyond the Street Profits and the New Day for longevity purposes. And I think Ryan's right that that Shinsuke Cesaro could have been a very good tag team if they had more of a resume to put forth in 2020. So for all of those reasons, I think it just rests on the Street Profits to kind of carry that.
Now, Matt, if the Usos went harder in the paint, you think they would have made the list this year?
I feel like if they hadn't thrown in the towel so early,
that's fair.
Probably would have been considered, but
that's fair.
I mean, they easily could have asked him 7 more times, and he could have done 6 more. So I mean,
I get it.
Should I do it, Oos?
performance issues, man. It happens. It's 2020. You get a pass here, Usos. But it is what it is.
Yeah, in the comments here, Devin, cousin Brian Lee, all have the Street Profits. This one was a fairly easy one, I thought. And then we go to
So before we move on,
Sure.
will any of us be surprised if the Street Profits don't win?
They're absolutely not going to win.
No.
Right, okay.
Like,
So we're all clear.
And I honestly just assume that like the online voting is like 1/100th of the vote. Like I assume that like the online voting like isn't truly going to matter, and even if it does, like what they can just skew it when they put the graph up that shows who had the most.
Like the time Cena Rock once in a lifetime for the third time one match of the year.
Right.
Just AA Rock Bottom back and forth for 30 minutes.
Right. Which, like, for me, it's like I'd love to see like a Cyber Sunday or Taboo Tuesday, but will like the voting even be like legit anyway? Like, are they just going to give the matches that they want to see? All right, and then we finish here this week with Return of the Year. The nominees are Edge, Roman Reigns, MVP, Goldberg, and Sami Zayn.
He's really on that list?
Who? Goldberg?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on like.
Oh my God.
Like.
So
bad.
We'll talk about this in the news and rumors, I guess. But man, they're really setting the groundwork, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's no way he should be anything higher than 5th out of 5 on this list, and he could be. Quite frankly should be like 6th or lower, but like 5th out of 5 out of these nominees. But like, I'm like, I just keep looking over this list, and I'm like, as cool as like Sammy's return, to me it was down to MVP, Roman Reigns, and Edge. And I can't not give it to Edge. Like that moment at the Royal Rumble, like it feels like the last good moment before things really went to hell. Like and I've watched that clip like so many times. Like Roman coming back, awesome. MVP's had an incredible year, but like moments versus matches, and that moment is like eternal, I think. Matt, we'll go to you.
Before I make my pick, is Tim frozen?
No, he's just looking.
You have just been holding that same
I am
pose.
reading.
You were holding that pose for the longest time.
Yeah, I'm really good at like holding a pose.
I'm very.
I'll get you with another one right here. Just.
All right. Well, I'll see if you can hold it during my pick. But yes, Jim, correct. That moment with Edge returning, that is one that I didn't see coming, to steal a catchphrase from a different pay-per-view in the same year. I think Edge coming back after us like saying for so long that we wanted it to happen, but we didn't think it would, for him to actually come back, compete in ring, and not just for like a Royal Rumble spot, but to like take it into a feud with Randy Orton, who had a hell of a year, and turn it into something so much bigger than just like a moment where you're like, oh, here's this retired wrestler that's going to get tossed out of the ring. And Edge was like jacked too, like in like premier shape, coming back to the ring. I mean, it's got to be Edge for me.
Intern Mark.
Well, I'll tell you what. The MVP comeback was surprising. I didn't expect that. Roman Reigns, I knew would be back sooner or later. At least I hope he would be. But Etch, I never thought I'd see Etch back in the ring. So I'm going to have to go with Etch, the rated R superstar Etch.
Etch. And in proper Pennsylvania Dutch too. I love it. Were they talking about that at Roots the Tuesday after Royal Rumble, talking about the return of Etch?
I was hanging around with Vernon and Christopher, and we were talking extensively about the Royal Rumble, and we were all shocked the Amish community, I can tell you for sure, was shocked that Etch made a comeback. They thought Etch was on the shelf.
Most certainly. Ryan, who do you have for return of the year?
Yeah, the first time I saw this, I said, "This is easy Roman Reigns," and then I remembered the actual comeback from leukemia was last year, and he was just off for COVID, and it wasn't his actual return. And then it became very clear that this is Edge.
Excuse me, who?
Edge.
Etch. And Tim, we go to you.
Only one return this year brought a tear to my eye.
Only one WWE return. Did the return of Sting bring a tear?
I didn't cry. No.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
I was just very happy. But Edge, the rated R superstar, Edge coming back has to be the return of the decade, not just the year.
Devin and Lee have Edge. Cousin Brian says the gobbledygooker. What's his return of the year?
Point.
He says, or Edge for the return moment, Roman for return impact, which I would agree. I mean, but I would almost argue too that if you're going to go return for impact, like the impact of the return, I would argue that MVP might even beat out Roman. Like what MVP's done with the Hurt Business, and I mean he's gotten me to be a fan of Bob Lashley. I mean that's impressive in and of itself. But yeah, I think Etch is the right answer.
I think people can be most surprised by the MVP return, which was supposed to be
like a one and done,
a one-off, maybe a two-off at most.
It was Rumble and Raw,
and it turned into an entire year program centered around him developing a brilliant. I mean, kudos to him.
It's like the only thing left over from Paul Heyman being in charge of Raw.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ooh, that's fair.
It's like the only thing that's left.
Remember that first Raw with Paul Heyman, and they like speared somebody through the back, and they got that crazy like
it was Braun and Bob,
and then nothing happened with that at all.
COVID happened.
Yeah,
fair.
COVID
That's
COVID
fair.
derailed a lot of things. I think.
Yeah, I think too. Like
It's not like it's unlike WWE, just like try to do something and then just like the next week be like, no, we didn't do that.
Okay,
Like,
name one other thing that they've done.
when
Right.
the Raw Anonymous GM came back for 1 week.
I don't remember.
Raw Underground was there for like a month.
I don't remember that either.
What was the other thing? That was a Raw Underground, and then something else was like they tried out around the same time, and both of them have just
the Raw Ninjas.
Oh, that's right, the Ninjas. They came and went pretty quick. Well, remember when like the third hour of Monday now, and this is back when we had crowds, but like the third hour of Raw was supposed to be like lights out or whatever.
DeAndre the Giant has been three things in 2020.
100% accurate. He
was the big ninja. He was the doorman for Raw Underground.
Who was the
and now?
Right
now he's Olmec. I don't know what.
Yeah, he's
Olmec, the guy from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
That's Olmec. Yeah, that's his name, right?
Oh, I didn't know it was his name.
Now, what is his name? What do they call? Old Bay. I don't know what his name.
Old Bay.
What is it?
No, that's Adam Cole in 20 years when he's a manager. He's Old Bay.
I need to know what his. I feel so bad that I don't know.
Almost.
What
Lee says almost. OLMOS.
Almost. Yeah, almost. I almost had it.
Almost.
Oh, you almost had it. Ha ha ha.
Unreal.
Jesus.
Matt, this might be my last show too.
Yeah, actually, it might be mine. This,
We're all just going to Final Wrestling.
Yeah,
Place.
it's just
I will happily absorb 3 Count Thursday and the Final Wrestling Place.
Yeah,
when you're tired, you're weary.
Yeah,
you need content creators.
Yeah, Tim, I just saw WWE just shared the link about Zeus. Not that TMZ isn't a trustworthy source, but yeah, it's definitely a confirmed.
TMZ is literally like like whenever I hear there's a rumor, like somebody's floating around on Twitter is like so and so's dead.
Oh yeah, TMZ is the first place to go because they usually are on top of that kind of stuff.
Because they were on top of the Kobe stuff.
They were.
Like,
which we were also on the air for.
Last time we had breaking news was when Tim broke the Kobe passing away, that I remember anyway.
Yeah, and then a month and a half later, the entire world went to hell. So I'm
yeah.
It's not Kobe's fault.
Thanks, Tim.
I'm a little scared of like what's waiting in the pipeline over the next couple of weeks.
That was our live Rumble show.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
like that's the great like that day because obviously 2020 has been like crappy for everybody, but you go back to that was Royal Rumble Sunday. We broke that news, and like when we got off the air, that was the day I found out my grandma had fell, and then then she passed in August. So 2020's been bad for Big Jim even before it got bad for everybody else. Cousin Brian says he usually hears about deaths from the Iron Sheik. So I guess the Iron Sheik, I don't know if he works for TMZ or if he's
Iron Sheik, Baba.
If he just tweets those things out. Three Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?